All right, now I was actually going to split this up into two videos, but I felt I didn't need to do that because number one, I don't want to oversaturate the channel even more than I'm already doing. And let me just put it this way. Now, I already did a live stream kind of talking about the episode, kind of like a episode recap or whatever you want to call it. But this video is going to be talking about my thoughts on the episode itself and why it was kind of it was pretty lackluster in my opinion. Now, I gave praise to Aaron Boy and Hannah's T. Those were I guess you could say the first two really good episodes of this season so far. And then the fact that they were back to back with awesome cliffhangers really left me something to actually look forward to each week. But when it comes down to this particular episode, I think last week was every 6 months. And even though I gave that episode like a 7 or I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10, it wasn't a bad episode, but the episode was more focused on setup, which I actually let slide. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. It's kind of a slower paced episode, but they're doing a lot of setup for future plot lines and character arcs. So I'll let it go. It makes sense. This episode, I mean, I literally give it like a 6.5 or a 6 because I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, I watched it twice already to see if I would change my mind, but it didn't do it for me. I mean, maybe it's something I did to myself because remember last week seeing the preview, George with the whole thing about, oh, the same bullets used to kill your daughter were used on Jennifer Salison, so it has to be the same gun. So I remember doing a live stream and a video on it, like how it doesn't really make sense for that to be possible, but maybe this episode will give us more answers and questions for a change. But then I remember on Tuesday morning, was it? Yeah, I think it was Tuesday morning, right before I was about to do, I just finished up that live stream on Monique and the Breakfast Club. But then I got to watching a clip, and it was when we saw the DA and Sarah sitting across from Wyatt. And then we got that bull crap scene of him, quote unquote, convincing but not convincing Wyatt to say, oh, yeah, I saw my parents with a gun like that. And then we learn that he's pretty much just trying to manipulate these people to use that against the criers in court. And now you have him trying to pull that same crap on Katherine to get her to break, but she won't having it. I was not feeling, I feel like maybe because I went to this episode with high hopes about the Amanda case, but then it turned out to be nothing like it at all. Like Amanda's death is still a mystery. I am glad that, we learned that Jennifer Salison was looking into it. Well, I mean, Katherine did, because I remember I kept saying that I think that'll be brought up in the actual court case, but not before then. But oh no, we actually know from George's mouth that Katherine now knows that Jennifer was looking into the death not being a suicide but a homicide. That was a huge turn on for me there. Let me see. Some of the highlights we got, Katherine and that Joanne, the ghetto maid, which it wouldn't surprise me that was a setup. That was a hilarious scene. Oscar stopping by to give Jim an update on the Wyatt situation. The mini team up, we actually got Veronica and Candace talking on the phone about how to not tip off David to Erica's scheme. But something tells me that David wouldn't be as paranoid, if you will, with Erica as he was with Veronica, like black light, freaking out if something's out of place and things of that nature. Just because of the fact that, he doesn't even know this woman yet. He's already allowed her to live in his house and give her the credit card to go out to go shopping, and she only spent a couple $100s. David, to me, is probably not going to be as, paranoid and looking over his shoulder with Erica like he was with Veronica, in my opinion. But it was nice to see those two talking on the phone. But it seems clear to me that they both have they want the same thing, but at the end of the day, they have different ways of reaching that goal. Then we have Erica talking with Candace, and I think Erica's going to turn tail at some point, but really, what can she do? Like, I don't think she's going to align herself with Candace, especially if she finds out about Veronica being in the mix, because we know Veronica wants to get rid of her anyway. Then we have the whole scenario with, let's see here. Yeah, Jim and Gia, because I'm wondering, I doubt in the next episode when, Candace confronts Gia about, you should have got the money no matter if the wife comes up with a Uzi, you get that money. I don't think the name Jim Cryer is going to come up because number one, Oscar said like Mr. Smith or something like that when he was walking out the door when Gia was going in. So something tells me that Gia doesn't know that's Jim Cryer. It wouldn't surprise me at some point if like Gia's working in the room at the bar and Candace walks down and then notices Jim Cryer and then Gia will be like, oh yeah, that's the guy, the one whose wife came in. I feel like she would use Gia as a means to get back at Jim through revenge. So that's why I think with that particular plot point. Let's see what else we got here. Cause you know what I might start doing? I might just start doing like episode like so. Kind of, I don't even know what the proper word is because I know this other YouTuber does it. Like instead of like calling it recap, I think it's more like a review instead of a recap because when you recap, you pretty much rehash everything. But in these reviews, I like to just talk about not every single point, but the stuff that stood out to me in a good or bad way. And of course, you know, I do a lot of other videos throughout the week talking about different theories and I say in episode reviews, like, did you see that one scene with Veronica? That deserves his own video. I don't even want to talk about it here. And then another guy does like a WT F, like, you know, the top 10, you know, what the moments of the episode. I might start doing that too. But I feel like with this episode, it was kind of it was kind of dragging. Like one scene I will admit was interesting was Justin and Jeffrey. And again, this is just my perspective on it. I think that Justin was actually just going to carry Jeffrey back to the room, not to do stuff to him, but to tell him that his mother was okay. That's kind of what I took from that interaction. You can kind of tell by the fact that Justin wasn't overly hostile. And then when the other cop showed up, he didn't even want anything to do. Like, hey, you know, just calm down. It's okay. I kind of think that's what was going to happen, but that was just my opinion. And then you have Justin's wife showing up. I mean, when he said I'm not gay, I was just like, bro, come on. It was kind of like Alex from If Loving You Is Wrong, Her Lies. I'm just kind of over it. I'm just like, you know what? I want to see. Okay, I'm happy his wife showed up because we've been wanting to see this. I want to see Pearl and what she has to say. That's what I want. That's what I want to see. Because literally, I really have nothing to say about when his wife showed up. Well, it was good to see her again, don't get me wrong, and the fact that she was confronting him about it, but the fact that he was so dismissive about it, I just have nothing. I have nothing to say aside from they haven't been intimate in a while, so whatever. And then we have, let's see here. Okay, Jim, Oscar, Hannah. Oh, well, I really don't have much to say about Hannah and Katherine because I already did a couple videos. Like, this is the 5th video I'm recording in a row, and I've already done videos about Katherine and Hannah. But I do find it interesting that she possibly might pursue school to be a nurse or something. So, you know, it's kind of good. That shows that no matter how far you are in your life, if you want to try something new, go for it. But my biggest concern is, you know, even though she says she might think about it, the offer to work for Katherine, you know, it's like, it'll be too hard to go to school and work for you. She's like, no, you can do it. But she says she'd think about it. But my thing is, Hannah, you don't have a home, you don't have money, you don't have a job. Yes, you're staying in a place Katherine gave you, but you don't want it. You have a job if you go back to work with Katherine, but you don't want to do that. And then she was going to double the salary. It's just like, what are you going to do? I remember reading somebody was like, hey, she can get financial aid student loans. I'm just like, first of all, Benny has them loans on his back at some point for that $18,000 every 6 months. I don't think Hannah wants to run up any more debt. I'm sorry. I can't. I can't. I literally can't. I just can't. But, and then that slap that Melissa got from Veronica, that was weaker than Monique's reasoning to boycott Netflix. That was just one weak ass slap in my opinion. But hey, you know, it was acting and she was still, you know, just got out of a car wreck. So, and she was probably tired from Benny, but whatever. So, I mean, I gotta say, the past couple episodes have been a bit disappointing, especially after the great episodes of Aaron Boy and Hannah's Tea. And we're approaching the mid-season finale, I think, within the next 2 episodes, I believe. Maybe the 6th or the 13th is the mid-season. No. Next week is in the mid-season finale. We would have heard about it. I think the 13th. The 13th or the 20th is going to be the mid-season finale. But I think that Tyler Perry needs to, you know, pick up the pace, put in some more character resolutions, because at this point, I don't even know if the mid-season finale is going to be that good to watch after these last 2 lackluster episodes. Maybe next week we'll turn it around. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But overall, I still stand by my score of like a 6.5 for this episode. I know some people gave it like 7, 8, 9, but I feel like it was weak compared to the more recent episodes. But hey, you know what? That's just my opinion. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What did you think of Wicked? Do you think next week will pick up the pace? Do you think it'll be better than this week? Of course, comment section's open. Leave your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll talk to you later.